Hey everybody, it's Ryan here with Chosen Society. I want to just share this quick word and also a teaching moment behind it. The word of the Lord for today specifically is coming out of Haggai 1 and 5. It says, "Now thus saith the Lord, consider your ways." This is a heavy word to think about in the book of Haggai. It's only, 2 chapters, but there's 3 principles that can be found in the word. And so as I was studying on this today, I'm like, God, why did you drop this on my lap today out of all days? And so God started to walk me down through the book and through the background and the backstory. And so one of the things that I took away immediately is that Haggai, his name means festive. Like, he was sent by God to encourage God's people. There was a specific work that they were assigned to do and commissioned to do. But the people, number one, were disinterested in doing the plan and the will of God. They were more concerned about building their own houses than building the kingdom. So in the prophetic word today, where God is challenging us to consider our ways, or to consider your ways, he's speaking to all of us, from the person who's an apostle all the way down to the person who is just a churchgoer, right? Whoever you are in the body, you must consider your ways. And so as I was thinking on this word, I knew this was one of the words that I was going to release. I have a whole bunch of other ideas that the Lord has dropped in my spirit to release on today. So I was coming here to the park. I saw a woman. She was walking with a crutch, and she's probably going to see this video. Hi, Natoya. God bless you on today. Thank you for continuing to renew my faith in the Lord. And so she's walking with a crutch. She had her granddaughter with her, which I know now is her granddaughter. But as I was approaching, coming to the park, I saw her standing off. She has this one crutch, and then she has the baby in the other hand. And so I was just overcome with compassion, and I heard the Lord tell me to pray for her. And so the first thought in your flesh, number one, is, did I hear God? Did I misunderstand? Should I actually approach her? And obviously I was coming up from behind. There's a lot of different things that run through your mind, especially as a man approaching a woman. I couldn't tell what age she was. I didn't know, how it would be perceived, and all these different things that run through your mind. And so as I was walking past her, I literally passed her, and maybe I got like 3 or 4 steps in front of her, and it was like I could feel the conviction of I should have prayed for her. So I turned around, I go back, I pray for her. And, after I pray for her and pray with her, she starts to pray for me. And her prayer was just super accurate. It was very precise with what I was actually dealing with in the moment. Had I not been obedient to God, right, and considered my own ways, I would have missed that opportunity for her to speak a word into my own life. And so a lot of times we're too busy with our day-to-day, right? I was consumed with, okay, God, you sent me out here to record content. You sent me out here to do part of your work. But sometimes we miss what the real assignment is because we're so concerned with the work. So God is calling us to consider our ways, that we need to make sure that we're building his kingdom first and not our own kingdom. If we continue to build what he has told us to build, then he will build for us what is necessary. And so the second thing, and I'll just wrap this up quickly, that we can learn from the book of Haggai is, not only were the people disinterested in doing the assignment of God, is that they had become to a place where they were discouraged. Some of the people, especially I guess some of the older people, they were children, and they were alive, and they witnessed Solomon's temple. So for the assignment to build rebuild the temple, they knew that from their perspective, or from their lens, that in the natural, the things that Solomon used to build the temple, you know, they didn't have access to those same amount of resources. They didn't have access to the cedar, and they didn't have access to some of the gold and all the opulent things that Solomon used to construct the temple. So they said it to themselves, if it can't look like how Solomon built it, then it's no point of building it. And some of you right now, as we can see after or in Haggai 1:5, and as it continues, the Lord spells out clearly, you know, that there are situations in your life where you may not have enough money, where you may be facing lack, where you may be facing it's almost like you have a bag, a hole in your bag when it comes to finances. And it's, the Lord points this out, is that the reason why we have these holes in our finances is not because we necessarily are bad stewards, but it's because you refuse to build what the Lord is calling you to build. And so just as Haggai, he encouraged the people, I want to encourage you on today to consider your ways. If God has called you to an assignment, if God has called you to build something, that it's time to build, it's time to go. The release has already started, and we must step into the release of what God has for us. And then the third thing that we can find in these two books is that, you know, the people, they were defiled. They were unclean. Their hands were touching things that it shouldn't be touching. But the Lord, by his sovereignty and by his grace, he let them know that he was going to begin blessing them starting this day. And so what I want to release to you guys is the same blessing that the Lord has shared with us in this book, that from today, that what you touch, what you move forward in, as long as you are repentant, as long as you have given those things over to the Lord, that you will start to see the blessing of the Lord hit your life starting today. And so I'm challenging you all today, consider your ways. Now, one thing that I also just want to unpack here, just like the people, there may be things that God is asking you to build, but in the way that he's asking you to build it is not going to look how you think it should look. Some of you guys, some of the things that God is going to place you out in and push you out in is going to appear to be controversial. It's going to appear to be different, because God is calling you to go into the marketplace and to snatch back souls for the kingdom. And since most people in church, in the body of Christ, have been so comfortable with standing behind a pulpit and just prophesying or preaching, and not actually going out there into the marketplace and snatching souls, what the Lord calls you to and what the Lord directs you to, it's probably going to look different. It's probably going to look unorthodox, but we must trust that the Lord has sent us. We have to trust that the Lord is going to provide, and trust that the Lord is blessing us starting today. And so I challenge you guys, consider your ways, like this video, share this video with somebody else. And also, if you guys would, let's pray for Natoya, this awesome woman of God. She prayed for me. And so I would love it for nothing else if all 7,000 of us could just remember her on today, that the Lord would bring healing and restoration into her life, that she will be able to carry her grandbaby without the crutch, that there would be a supernatural release of healing, because all of us are on one accord, in agreement, to pray for healing and restoration in her body. And so I thank you guys. Like this video, share this video with somebody else. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.